In a quiet corner of Eastern Europe stands an old hotel, built in the late 19th century and preserved like a relic from a forgotten age. But inside, its warm lights and polished wood panels, lies a mystery so bizarre that even seasoned investigators refuse to claim they fully understand it. This is the story of a single hotel room. A room that was once ordinary, easy to overlook. Nothing more than a place for weary travelers to rest. Until one day, it simply vanished. Walls remained. The hallway stayed. But the room that once existed between them had disappeared as if erased from reality itself, leaving behind only unanswered questions and the chilling memory of the guests who were last seen entering it. This is The Disappearing Guests, the true story of the vanishing hotel room. The Grand L'Opéra Hotel, built in 1894, was never known for hauntings, murders, curses, or any of the typical foundations of ghost stories. It was simply a beautiful old building with creaking floors, velvet curtains, and the smell of old books lingering in its hallways. A place where travelers felt nostalgic rather than afraid. And yet, hidden beneath this softness was a strange thread of history that only a few employees ever dared talk about. In the eastern wing of the third floor, there once stood a room, Room 209, small, warm, and facing the shining city lights. For decades, it was just like any other room. Nothing unusual, nothing remarkable. Until the day travelers began disappearing from it, one by one, leaving no trace behind except an ongoing unease that something inside that room did not belong to the world the hotel stood upon. In the summer of 1973, two French travelers, Marie and Eloise, cheerful friends who were backpacking across Europe before returning home to their routine lives, arrived at the Grand L'Opéra and checked into room 209. They were last seen laughing in the hotel restaurant, and at exactly 9:48 p.m., they entered the elevator heading toward the third floor. After that moment, the world never saw them again. When hotel staff knocked on their door the next morning to deliver breakfast, no one answered. When the master key was used, the staff found the room strangely untouched. No suitcases, no clothing, no signs of use, no impressions on the bed sheets, no personal belongings. It looked as if no one had slept there at all. But the strangest part was that the hotel ledger, despite the receptionist confirming he checked them in with his own hands, showed no record of Marie or Eloise ever staying there. The police investigated, but with no evidence and no logical explanation, the case was quietly closed as travelers gone missing during a journey. What they failed to realize was that room 209 had already chosen its first victims, and it would not be the last. In the years following the disappearance, the hotel began experiencing unsettling events centered around room 209. The telephone would ring in the middle of the night with no caller on the other end. Lights would flicker on and off despite no electrical faults being found, and housekeeping frequently reported damp stains on the walls, though there were no pipes running through them. Guests in neighboring rooms complained of soft knocking sounds, like someone trapped behind a wall trying to get out, always coming from the direction of room 209, even when the room was supposed to be empty. The night staff reported seeing light under the door late at night, as though someone were moving around inside. But whenever they unlocked it, the room was silent, empty, untouched, and cold. Something, whatever it was, seemed to occupy the room even when no guest did. In 1981, Professor Daniel Whitaker, a respected historian with no interest in superstition, checked into room 209 for a 3-night stay while attending an academic symposium. He was calm, rational, and believed only in the physical world, until his final night. The next morning, the hotel staff unlocked his door after he failed to answer repeated knocks. And as before, the room was empty, stripped of personal belongings, silent as though untouched for days. But this time, there was one clue: a notebook left on the writing desk. On its final page, hastily scribbled, were the words, "There is another door in this room, not part of the hotel's design. I heard someone calling my name from behind it." After that sentence, the handwriting abruptly ended. No professor, no suitcase, no footprints, no exits. 3 guests had now vanished in the same room, and the pattern could no longer be ignored. Hotel management, overwhelmed by fear and pressure from the staff, decided room 209 had to be sealed off permanently. The room was locked, the number plate removed, and the corridor leading to it was closed. But when construction workers arrived to begin renovations the next morning, they encountered something impossible. The room was gone. Not locked, not sealed, gone. The door no longer existed, replaced by a flawless stretch of wall with no seams, no signs of plasterwork, no marks of removal. Nothing to suggest a room had ever been there. Even more disturbing, the hotel's original architectural blueprints from 1894 showed no room 209 allocated to that section of the building. According to the plans, the room never existed. But multiple staff members remembered cleaning it, opening it, and assigning guests to it for decades. Had an entire room somehow been erased? From the building, from the records, and from reality itself? Years later, when the hotel closed for a financial audit, several internal documents leaked to the public, revealing testimonies from employees who had long been afraid to speak. A night receptionist claimed he had seen the 2 French women walking through the lobby long after check-in hours, even though there was no record of them in the system the next morning. A senior housekeeper confessed she once heard a whisper, "Help me," coming from inside room 209 when no one was assigned to it. An electrician reported the room's walls were consistently 10 degrees colder than any other part of the hotel. A restaurant waiter admitted seeing silhouettes standing at the window of room 209 long after it had supposedly been vacated. But the most chilling testimony came from an elderly employee who had worked at the hotel since 1960. He claimed that the disappearances hadn't started in the 70s. The earliest vanishing happened in 1954, long before any official record of room 209 existed. Which means the room had been taking people far earlier than anyone realized. Many theories emerged to explain the impossible nature of room 209. Some paranormal researchers believed the hotel was built on a geometric anomaly, a point where space folds irregularly, causing certain rooms to connect to places that are not part of our physical world. Others suggested that room 209 was a ghost room, an architectural leftover created accidentally by the building's design, a space that wasn't meant to exist but somehow formed and drew in energy, or people. Then there was the time slip theory, proposing that the room functioned as a pocket of distorted time, a fragment where the past, present, and future converged unnaturally. And the darkest theory claimed the hotel had covered up crimes for decades. But this crumbled quickly when even the oldest blueprints showed no trace of the room ever being real. In 1999, the hotel closed permanently due to financial struggles and the lingering shadow of its unsolved mysteries. Windows gathered dust, carpets decayed, and the building fell into silence. Yet residents of the town swore that on certain nights, usually when the moon shone brightest, one window on the 3rd floor would glow with a soft, warm light, as if someone were quietly reading inside. That window belonged to the location where room 209 once stood. Some claimed to see two women standing near the glass. Others saw the silhouette of a man hunched over a desk, writing. And a few insisted they heard faint tapping sounds, rhythmic and persistent, as though someone was knocking from inside the wall, trying to return.